as General Manager, Marketing, with a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Simran. And how do I pay my obeisances to all of you? Perhaps I would say that in Malayalam. Namaskaram. Namaskaram to all of you. And firstly, thank you so much for being here, being with us on a very rainy day, a wet day. Yeah. So coming here and attending a conference is such an honor. It is such an honor. So let me take this opportunity and also privilege in introducing Burlington English. But before that, let me also ask my team members who made this a success, who made this a wonderful conference go live here. Guys, please introduce yourself. We have them, we have Mr. Nishikant at the back. We also have Mr. Kartikeya, we have Shweta, we have Mr. Cal. Cal, please stand up. And also we have Simran and the leader there, Mr. Rakesh Goswami. Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of dedication and also coordination has gone into this. Now, about my organization, Burlington English, with over 45 years of legacy and presence in over 40 countries across the world, we've connected with over 100,000 educators and impacted the lives of millions of learners worldwide. With a I think there is a problem with yeah. Can we go next? I'm sorry. Yeah. We are market leaders in Israel, Greece, Spain, and USA. We actually started off in 1980, and we spread across the world where English is a second language. And we've also, in 2018, started our operations with a soft launch in India. And we've used that opportunity to actually connect with educators such as you to understand your needs. So, in India, we are present across all domains of English language teaching, training for all ages and stages. As you can see here, we are there from early years to higher education and corporate with assessment and test prep in between. And in a short span of time, we have partnered with over 3,500 organizations across the country and across over 500 cities in India and South Asia. So we also represent the South Asian market here. We offer a suite of career-specific courses and assessments tailored for every learner. You can see the various courses and assessments over here. We are also closely working with OET. Mr. Amit is here. Thank you, Amit, for being with us. And also Global Nurses Forum. We have Mr. Cherian here. There's a surprise that will come at the end of the day to transform lives in the domain of healthcare. Let me also show you something very interesting. It is an illustration of how crucial and important English language communication is in the profession of healthcare.
Nursing is today a global profession with nurses from different countries working together. English is very often the language they use at work. In this video, you will see nurses from a range of backgrounds working successfully in English. Good communication skills in English are vital to their success, whether talking to patients or colleagues, for example, during a handover. Catherine Wang is a registered nurse working in Australia.
Handover is a bridge of communication. Communication about patients, about your staff, about any issues that related to your patient case. And handover also provide an oral culture for nurses to address any issues with the patients or ventilate about their stresses about their nursing care, or a time for basically to connect with your staff and connect with your patients. So handover is an important time to communicate any significant information about your patient cares. For nurses whose English is a second language, it's important to communicate as clearly and accurately as possible. So we use simple, short simple and short sentences. Sometimes I think it's very helpful to write it down. So write anything down that's important to our patient care. Also, I think we have to work on our pronunciations of medical and technical vocabularies.
So, in the handover, it's essential to communicate as clearly as possible. Make sure to listen actively, clarify immediately if you don't understand, and use short, simple sentences.
Good morning, my name is Catherine. I'll be working this morning.
Hi, I'm Nelly. How are you today?
Good, not too bad.
That's good.
And how was your shift?
Was good. Busy?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's do the handover.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a new admission last night. His name is Daniel.
Okay.
He's 22 and he's insulin-dependent diabetes.
Also, that's type 1 diabetes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he came here for hernia reduction.
Okay.
His operation is today at 11 and
Okay.
his doctor is Dr. Olides.
Oh, sorry. Can you just spell that for me, please?
Yes, it's Oliedes.
Oliedes. Thanks. Thank you very much for that.
And he's fasting. He's been fasting since midnight.
All right.
Yeah, he had a shower. He's pretty much ready for the operation.
Great. Thank you. Yes. Is he a compliant diabetes?
Yes, he is. But we're keeping an eye on him,
All
so
right.
we check everything for
So
him.
he got his own insulin pen and
Yeah.
doing his own sugar level. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want me to show you around?
That would be really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Wonderful. So this video actually gives us a sense of how communication is important for every nurse. In the morning when we were meeting with Ms. Elizabeth David, Dr. Elizabeth, we had this conversation about why English language especially is very important to allow people to gain premium wage jobs, right? Because what happens is that, yes, I mean, mother tongue is very important, but it is important for places where we are. However, a common language is very important for people who go across the world. And that is where India is leading. So, as you see here, there is a growing demand of nurses. In India, we have over 35 lakh nurses. However, the World Health Organization recommends 3 nurses per 1,000 population. May I ask you a question? All of you are in the profession, yeah? What is the number of nurses per 1,000 that we currently have in India? Any guesses? Any guesses? Okay, interesting. Anything else? Any? You can give me random guesses. You can just say 1, you can say half. Any? Okay, wonderful. Sorry? 0.05. I think, Cal, we are positive. Better positive. I think we have reached what Roy sir had said. We are reaching 2 nurses per 1,000 population, which means that there's a humongous need for number of nurses. The latest estimate suggests that we need around 8 lakh nurses in the Indian system, right? And India is an ever-growing population. We are now the world number 1 in population, and therefore I think the need for healthcare workers and nurses is even more important. And I'll also tell you why it is even more important to have Indian nurses. Because of medical tourism. With the advent of medical tourism, I'm not going to read out the stats here, but you can see in 4 years, medical tourism has grown 4x, which means that whole world is looking up to India as the care capital. While Kerala is the care capital not just of India, it is the care capital of the world. And a big round of applause to all of you who are giving India the wonderful nurses and healthcare workers that we have already got. And I'll tell you, there is something called soft power, right? There is something also called hard power, yeah? And India's soft power also lies in the nurses that we are sending to the world over. And thank you and congratulations for that. And as we see here, we have every second person that immigrates out of Kerala, a woman, is a nurse. And that is the dedication of every woman in Kerala. Yeah, almost 50% of the women that go out of Kerala are nurses, which means that they are dedicated to healthcare. It is there, I'm sure, in blood. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Thank you so much for all this. Thank you, really thank you so much for all this. And why is English language important? Because nursing colleges allow us the technical skills, but added English language skills, it will allow the students premium wage jobs, which Mr. Roy is looking for, Joseph is looking for, and also global placements, right? And that is what I think every child aims for. So thank you so much. I will now, I think all of us will now wait to hear from the panel to discuss about what exactly is therein for the nurses. Thank you so much. Over to you, Simran.
Thank you, Shrikant. Okay, so this launch feels really personal to me. Reason being, my mom is a nurse, and I've seen her day in, day out. What a taxing, tedious job it is. I salute her for that. It's been 25 years for her that she's been in this industry. And I still remember during COVID how scared we were to send her out. And as a frontline warrior, I'm sure something that your students, your colleagues face on a daily life. So again, thank you so much for that. And I think these are stories of the unsung heroes that are the healthcare professionals, and that's mostly overlooked. With that, we now move into our spirited panel discussion, where thought leaders share their perspectives on the theme, bridging education, employability, and excellence in nursing, shaping the future of nursing in India and beyond. Please join in welcoming me on the stage our esteemed panelists, Mr. Amit Upadhyay, who is the Regional Director, South Asia for OET, Dr. Elizabeth David, who is the Director, Nursing and Organizational Excellence for Rajagiri Hospital, Kochi, Mr. Joseph Cherian, who is the Country Head for Global Nurse Force, Professor Dr. Roy K. George, who is the Director, Academics for Baby Memorial Hospital and Principal for the same college, Calicut. We were also to have Professor Dr. Susan Jose, but because of last-minute exigency, ma'am could not make it. And of course, it will be moderated by the Head of Teaching and Training, that's Mr. Kalpesh Amin, Burlington English. Thank you, everyone. Over to the panel.
Okay, thank you for that, Simran. Nice introduction. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And as Simran mentioned, we're joined by 4 esteemed panelists. I'll be posing a question to each of them. I'll give each of them a brief introduction as well. And hopefully, if we have time, we'll throw the floor open if you want to ask any specific question to any one of the panelists as well. So I'd like to begin with Dr. Elizabeth David. Oh, you have it. Oh, okay. They only gave me 2. Now we've got one each. So Dr. Elizabeth is the Director, Nursing and Organizational Excellence of Rajagiri Hospital here in Kochi. So in a short span since its establishment in 2014, the hospital has become a leading care facility in South India, and I believe touching nearly 2 million lives with its caregivers and advanced medical technology. It also, interestingly, serves as a centre for medical and nursing education. So we had a nice discussion this morning about what that involved. So that continues the Rajagiri legacy of educational excellence. Dr. Elizabeth herself is a distinguished nursing leader. She's got over 25 years of experience in both academic, clinical, but also leadership roles. She holds a PhD in nursing and a degree in hospital administration, as well as completing training at the Johns Hopkins Nurse Leadership Academy. Dr. Elizabeth has served in various capacities, all the way from bedside nurse up to the Director of Nursing, and she's been instrumental, especially in achieving multiple quality accreditations for her organizations. She's also a mentor, advisor, and visiting faculty, dedicated to advancing the nursing profession and fostering a collaborative environment for nurses. So Elizabeth, bearing the last point in mind, and with your focus on quality parameters, I'd like to ask you a couple of things. First of all, how do you address both clinical errors and communication gaps within your nursing teams? And also, what measures do you think should be put in place to ensure continuous learning?
Right. Thank you so much. Am I audible? I'm sure. Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kel, for the question, and thank you, Burlington, for having this conference organized and getting together a lot of nursing stalwarts, to come together in one place. Very difficult, but you managed it, so thank you for that. Coming to the question, I mean, you talked about clinical errors and communication barriers. The point is, both of them go hand in hand. And the reason why I say that is because we know that communication barriers or communication gaps is one of the most important reasons for clinical errors to occur in a healthcare situation. While I'd like to tackle both of them a little differently, let me talk about clinical errors first. And if you want to bring in a system where you want to reduce clinical errors, I think the first thing that we need to do as leaders is to set a right system or a right process. And the reason why I say that is invariably in a hospital, when an error occurs, with all due respect to everybody else in the healthcare industry, the fingers are always pointed to a nurse. And if you look at the RCA and the corrective action and the preventive action, the one that would come up is train the nurse. But let me tell you, n number of training to a nurse will not really help us build, bridge these gaps, because what we need to focus is on improving the system. So the first thing to do is develop a culture of safety. And when I say a culture of safety, what I mean is that every individual in the organization should be standing up for patient safety, should be saying that I will ensure that gaps are corrected when it comes to safety of my patients. And the one that goes along with that is a just culture. When I say a just culture, what I mean is that you're going to look at every event that occurs and try and understand what went wrong. And if it is for me as a leader to own up that this was a system failure or this was a process failure, I need to correct it myself. Rather than always pointing fingers at the junior most nurse who's there and trying to because that's the most vulnerable situation that she can be in. So it's important for us to build that up. The second and most important thing is to have an accessibility, an easy accessibility to an incident reporting system. I personally do not like to use the word incident reporting because it's got a very negative connotation to it, and which is why at Rajagiri Hospital we call it as a quality improvement event reporting. Because that basically brings it a positive note to everybody, saying that I'm pointing out something which we can improve. I'm not pointing out at someone else, I'm pointing out at a situation that can be improved. Because every time there's someone points out something, the other department will come and say, okay, you did that to me, now let me bring up something of yours. But that is not the idea. And simultaneously, very important is to make it very accessible. Make it easy for the user to raise an event as such. Do not expect them to put in long stories. Remember, we as leaders, we have scheduled times, but these are people on the ground. You'll have a patient calling suddenly, you'll have a doctor coming in for rounds. So all of these incident reporting systems should be very easy, something that they can fill out in a minute of time, right? And it can be anonymous too, if you want maximum number of events to be reported. The next important thing is to have a formal safety committee. I mean, don't go by the term, that's just a term that I'm using, but you really need to have a team who will look at all of these incidences that are raised or these events that are raised and look at it with an unbiased eye, look at it with an intention to see what went wrong and not who did it wrong, and try and improve on what can be done. And this team needs to be trained on that as well. And that brings me to the next important aspect, and that is a very well-structured RCA framework. That's the root cause analysis framework. Remember, when you're going to have people, kind of raise events, motivate them, you're going to give them awards, you're going to recognize them, you're going to let them know that the one who captured something before it reached the patient can be awarded, people are going to raise in a lot of events. And that can be, large in numbers. So it's very important for us to have a very structured RCA framework where we're able to identify errors in terms of severity, in terms of frequency, and try and address the ones which need your most attention. And that framework is going to tell you, kind of make a decision framework for you to tell you what is wrong, what went wrong, was it a system failure, was it a process failure, what is a human error, and if it's a human error, was it related to lack of training, was it related to a reckless behavior, and accordingly you should be able to take actions for those situations. The next one is to ensure continuing education and awareness. Now we as leaders and as principals of colleges, like all of us are here, we think we know it all. But I think when we're talking about education and awareness, it's very important to ensure that people from the top to the lowermost, I wouldn't say lowermost, the frontline staff, are all trained or, on things that they need to know. As a leader, I need to be able to make the right decisions. I need to be able to ensure that my environment is non-punitive, it is just. As a nurse at the bedside, she needs to know what's happening. You don't want every nurse to repeat the same mistake to learn. They should be able to learn from other mistakes that happened, right? So training and awareness continuously is very, very important. The next important thing is accessibility to evidence-based, and if I may say, error-proof policies and protocols. Many a times you go, I am an NABH assessor as well, so when I go to hospitals, you find the policies and protocols in the office of the management or the nursing leader's office, but which is not available to the frontline staff. They need to know what are your policies. They need to ensure that updated policies are available for them to refer to. That's another important thing that we need to look at. And something that I strongly believe has really worked for me, and I would cross my heart and say that, is the competency framework. Trust me, it's an exercise which is very, very extensive. But if you really do it in the sense of, in the real sense of the activity, it'll do wonders to you as a nursing leader. Because then every nurse taking care of a patient has been trained and she is competent to do what she can do. You do not want to put a junior nurse in front of a patient and say, administer an IV injection when she's not done that throughout her life. So when you have a strong competency framework and you develop that and train people and make sure that they are competent to do what they do, you obviously are going to reduce errors. And the last and most important for me is to have a very robust peer review. When I say peer review, I'm talking about each stakeholder or each group reviewing the other group and doing that very formally. You want a doctor team, you want the medical team to come and tell you where you can improve as a nurse and the nursing team. But you also want a situation where the nurses can tell the doctors where they need to improve. Unfortunately for us, it's always, the nurses have to keep improving. But when I'm talking about a strong peer review program, what I'm saying is that we all need to be focused on patient safety. It cannot be that you have a different way of dealing with a certain group of people and a different way to deal with the others. It has to be universal, with the patient at the center of everything that you do. I'm going to talk a little bit, if I have the time, about I do, and if I'm not boring you. So I need to talk a little bit about communication, and this I'm saying with my experience. I've worked as a nurse and a nurse leader in Mumbai all my life, but I've been in Kerala for the last 2.5 years. Now, though we say that India is very diverse in terms of language and cultures and all of that, our nurses many a times are very competent. But what they really lack is English communication skills. Now, when I worked in Bombay, the need was different because we have patients of all kind of languages, all of them coming. So Hindi has been a common language, but English is something that they also require to know well so that they can communicate with patients who don't understand Hindi, right? But when I came to Kerala, it was a little different because Malayalam was accepted as your normal business communication. The reason being, patients are okay with it, doctors are okay with it, the rest of the team is okay with it. So that's like your normal professional communication. was a little difficult for me to kind of accept to begin with, because I thought, how can you speak in Malayalam at your workplace? And I said, no, you can't speak in Malayalam, you have to speak in English. But then I realized that everybody finds comfort in that language, right? And trust me, within about 4 months, I could speak Malayalam like that, you know? So they taught me. But the problem is not that. The problem is when you have to do your written documentations. And I think that's where we kind of fail, because when you look at nursing documentations, sometimes they're very hilarious. But at the same time, you know that, especially with the electronic medical records and all of that, you know that there are other fraternities reading these documentations. And many a times, I've had doctors, they send me screenshots of the EMR and they say, see what your nurse has documented. It puts you in a very tough spot, right? While we may laugh at it, but when it comes to a legal situation, these documentations are very, very important. Like I have an old joke, which I think one of our nursing leaders had quoted at some point. She said a Malayali nurse went to Delhi and she wanted to tell the patient to turn. So in Malayalam we say, maranju kadaka, right? Maranju kadaka. But in Hindi we say, murjao. So this girl did not, she put everything together and she said, marjao. So you can imagine how an alphabet can, kind of change the perspective completely. So it's very important to understand communication. But what we as nursing leaders do, we do jugaad, right? So what we did, we have now come up with tick list, right? So the nurses don't have to write too much. So we come up with certain tick lists, and all they have to do is write your notes, where again, there are errors, right? And we also have communication tools that we give them, scripted communications, communication sheets, and we tell them, from a safety perspective, we've got verbal order policies, we've got read-back policies, and these are all things that we work to improve on communication. But I think in the if you look at the larger perspective, it's very important for our nurses to understand English. And today I'm the only lady sitting among all of these people. Probably, I think that English has had a little edge for me, and that's probably why they've invited me to sit over here. So I think that's very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Elizabeth. Am I audible now? Okay, how is that? That's better. I don't think we invited you just for that. I think we invited you for a lot more. And I think I may need a translation of that joke at the end, because I'm probably the only one that didn't understand the last bit.
Oh, you did.
Okay, so maybe off the record we can do that. But Dr. Elizabeth has given us so many ideas, and even talking to her this morning about the cross-functionality with the clinical side, the effectiveness, and the communication. And it's most interesting to hear your ideas on the framework and also the checklist in particular, because that's practical, and that's what we can expose our nurses to in the real world. So thank you so much for that. And if we get time, we'll open up the floor later. I'd now like to turn to Professor Dr. Roy George, who's the Director Academics of Baby Memorial Hospital and the Principal also of the College of Nursing within that. I'm married to a Malayali, okay, so I know he's from Calicut, but I said, how do you pronounce it locally? So she said, don't try, but I'm going to try. So she said, Koikud. Is that right? Okay, marks out of 10. Was that a 5 or something? I'm not sure. So Dr. Roy is also a former president of TNAI, and the College of Nursing itself is affiliated with Kerala University of Health Sciences, and I believe it offers a comprehensive range of nursing courses, and it's all under one roof. It's also established as the first research centre of KUHS in 2021. And because of that, I think it has a lot of great facilities there, experienced faculty, fully equipped labs, and also, importantly, a well-stocked library as well. I think you're committed to nurturing the next generation of healthcare providers, and I was interested to learn about the innovative programs and compassionate care. So, Dr. Roy, I want to ask you about that, about these programs a little more, if I may. Perhaps you can share with us what innovative approaches you have explored to build, especially the communication confidence among nursing students. And what role do you think that these language labs, simulations, or even new AI tools can play in improving things like English proficiency for nurses?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for that question. And actually, I think Dr. Elizabeth has paved the way. Like, Kerala is the hub of nursing education, like whether nurses are educated in Kerala or outside. The majority of them, or a large proportion of them, are from Kerala. And when you talk about language, there's a joke, but it's a real situation where many times before the nursing colleges were very few, when there was very few nursing colleges in Kerala, most of the students used to go outside Kerala to study. And one secondary aim was that they will develop language skills. But in many colleges, what happened is other state students learned Malayalam because the majority of nursing students were from Kerala and they talked Malayalam. The Kannadiga students or Andhra students were compelled to learn Malayalam to cope with. So same way, though the official medium of communication in nursing education in India is English, it varies from states to states in practical sense. Like, because we are in Kerala and I am working in Kerala, and the thing is, the backdrop is in Kerala, what happens is, with the school education, with the shift of the 11th and 12th standard to school, which happened in 2002, the primarily the +1 and +2 classes, when it was in the affiliated colleges of the university, at least the medium, a majority of the classes were taken in English. Now, the 11th and 12th, especially in the Kerala syllabus, it is almost the English classes taken in Malayalam. Or rather, not only physics, chemistry, or biology, it is all the classes are taken in Malayalam. And even students started, in the last 10 years, students started demanding to the principal or the feedback saying that teachers shall take the classes more in Malayalam, or the Malayalam they talk in the class has to be improved. So not the language quality, the amount of Malayalam they use. So this was a very difficult situation, or rather very unfamiliar to seniors like me, how to do this. But I objected to it very strongly, but finally, after a decade, I find that most of the classes are taken in the Manglish, half of the English, half of the Malayalam, because the teachers want the students to understand. And added on to that local language, this thing, like the government orders now come in Malayalam, and government actively promotes Malayalam. So earlier, many colleges used to at least say, speak to the principal in English, speak to the teachers in English. If any of us insist, we may be charged with harassment of students, or female harassment, or women harassment, or even other child harassment if their age is just below 18, because first year students come sometimes at 17. So there is a situation where we are not able to, though we can preach telling about, okay, English is very important, that is the medium of communication. Even if you want to score good marks, your English has to improve, you have to read English newspapers. And the current generation, the Gen Z, hardly finds any newspapers. The freshest thing in my college and hostel is the English newspapers. It will be as good as today's newspaper if you take 1 month back paper also, because nobody opens it because they don't want to read that way. So this way there is definitely a going back in the English language used by the current students in most of the educational institutions in Kerala, even if you take Kerala perspective. And they usually start, when the senior, those teachers, they may start looking at English seriously to pass OET or IELTS when they want to go out. Till that is very difficult. Whatever, you can take marginal or small improvements with this language labs or simulation. But one good thing now is that with the COVID and the new BSc nursing syllabus, lot of simulation exercises are coming up, and OSCE examination is there. There the students are at least compelled to talk in English. If examiners insist, then there is some attempts to make. Otherwise, it is definitely there is a big gap between the requirement and the actual output. So whatever there are means of trying it, but students generally doesn't take it seriously unless they complete the BS nursing course.
Can I just ask then, do you think it hinders their development in the job market? Or do they just have aspirations to stay maybe in the domestic market?
No, it's not that. They don't want to stay in the domestic market, as like in the introduction we told that there are 35 lakh nurses. The funniest thing is this 35 lakh nurses is actually the number of nurses registered since 1947 in India. We don't know how many of them are alive, how many of them retired, how many of them are in India. So if you take actual statistics, it will be less than half of. Our association's estimation is we have less than 15 lakh nurses working in India, maybe 12 lakhs maximum working, including teaching, research, other administrative jobs, everything. But that is, but because we do not have authentic data, we cannot say that we will, that's why I told 2. Actually, it is less than 2 per 1,000. It is about 1 point.
So is the demand more on, as Dr. Elizabeth was saying, about clinical effectiveness and communication skills? When you have to do a mixture of Malayalam and English, is it more on the theory knowledge part rather than things like patient care and interactions?
Like as we say in the old saying, mother is the necessity of necessity is the mother of invention. Same thing, like the students, they are capable, they have, like Elizabeth learned Malayalam in 4 months very well. The same way they catch up. They are able, but the thing is, like, we cannot impose on them because they are used to it. And now, like, though there are almost all of our students, many of our students come from English medium schools, but they don't use language that way. And with these SMS and the WhatsApp messages, the English has become more structurally improper. It is just communication only. They use all the abbreviations and short forms, which makes even worse. Same thing is done in the examination papers and in the casual conversation. So that is another side effect of the electronic media and social media, where we can use any words to express, and that is maybe the grey heads like me may say this, that problem of that the generational change, because change is permanent. So this all makes it complicated, but still, when they want to learn, they do it. Because that is always catch up within 3 months or 4 months, and they do wonderful jobs across the globe. So generally, though, we can talk about maybe like in some of the English exercise, what we had told, again, we try to teach them grammar or structural language, which they are least interested, because there is no examination or university examination. Practical language development, which is part of the course, only will work before completion of course. Otherwise, it is an exam-oriented exercise for OET or ELTS or whatever they want to do. So this is 2 things which makes a big difference.
So thank you for that, Dr. Roy. Most interesting there. Maybe we can come to that functional language part when we talk to the other guys in a moment. But I suppose Malayalam does have its place. I remember the hospital when I went to Delhi. My wife was in there. All the nurses were from Kerala. So she got better service, actually, because then they started speaking in Malayalam as well. And I know my father in England, the same thing happened. There were a lot of nurses from Philippines and Kerala as well. So once they found out my wife was a Malayali as well, they just switched. So I'm sure we got better service because of that, but good insight into that. Okay, so let's move on now. So we were talking about testing just there. So we've got Amit with us there, from Amit Upadhyay from OET. I'm sure all of us know OET is a global leader in English language testing for healthcare professionals. And it's specifically designed for, I think, 12 professions in the 4 language skills. Amit himself is Regional Director for South Asia at OET. I've known him a while. He's a visionary leader. He's got over 20 years of experience in the education sector with lots of companies under his belt. I think he's dedicated to transforming learning experiences and driving meaningful impact for learners, educators, and institutions. He also leads a lot of strategic initiatives, operational excellence, and business development to empower healthcare professionals, specifically with the skills required in the marketplace. So I think essentially he's passionate about bridging that gap in professional language proficiency and to enhance the global healthcare communication. So Amit, if I could say that you do bridge that gap between learning institutions and the jobs marketplace that we'll find out from Joseph Cherian soon. So in your experience, how do you think strong communication skills enhance the effectiveness and also, let's say, the professional success of healthcare professionals? And also, what stage in their education should students begin developing these skills to maximize their impact? We heard from Dr. Roy that, it's a mixture at certain places, but when do you think that should happen?
Well, thanks, Cal, for that question. Thanks, Cal, for that question. Okay, cool. Thanks, Cal, for that question. And I think, first and foremost, thank you, Burlington, for putting this great event together and for inviting OET to be part of this. Appreciate that very much. I think Dr. Elizabeth here spoke about communication skills and their importance in clinical settings. Dr. Roy here, I think that was fantastic what you covered there. Strong communication skills are fundamental to the professional success and effectiveness of healthcare professionals. Now, whether it be just in India, or if they are migrating to English first speaking nations, it doesn't matter. English language skills will play an important role in their professional successes, that's for sure. It's not just about being able to communicate effectively, but also with empathy, right, accurately, so that the patient outcome itself can be improved. Now, that's at the heart of what we do at OET. Our mission is to connect the healthcare sector to better patient outcomes. To answer your question about when should they start, I think the earlier they start, the better they become. And a very simple example, why are we very good at Malayalam in Kerala? Because we speak it in our day-to-day routine from childhood, right? We speak to our parents, we speak to our friends, we speak in our schools, and we study in that language. Language learning does not happen over a 2 or 3 month period. What is important is to have structured language learning programs embedded early into the curriculum of our nursing graduates. That is what would really make the impact and make them proficient in using communication skills in the complex modern healthcare ecosystem that we are currently living in, whether it be just domestic or whether it be international healthcare systems, which Joseph would touch upon very shortly. So I think it's a firm belief of mine that if we start in structured language learning courses embedded into the nursing college curriculums itself, and I know that you've got a lot to teach them anyway, but language cannot be learned over a short period of time, so it needs to be embedded early. If it becomes part of the curriculum itself, whether it be 3 hours per week or whatever can be spared from their curriculum, that is when it'll make a real lasting impact in their lives.
Okay. Can I just add on to that then? Because you head OET, so how do you get your tests to Dr. Elizabeth and both Dr. Elizabeth and Dr. Roy mentioned the real world scenarios on that. So how do you effectively align your testing apparatus so that they can go into the real world and are ready to function? Dr. Elizabeth was talking about the writing elements, and she's produced a checklist. So how do you go about that to breach that sort of gap?
Well, that's also a very interesting question. Thank you for bringing that up, Cal. I think profession-specific tests play that role very effectively. So all of the assessment that happens in OET, it is profession-specific. We have 12 professions that is covered by OET. For example, let's talk about nursing. So in a writing examination in an OET nursing exam, in the OET nursing test, the nurse would be expected to write a patient transfer letter. Now, that's something that they've learned at the nursing college, and that's something they'll be doing at the hospital once they're there, right, deployed in the workforce. Similarly, in the speaking examination, for example, they will be playing a role with an interlocutor. And Cal, you've been an interlocutor yourself, so you know this. Yes. So Cal would, as an interlocutor, then become the patient, and the nurse who has come to give the examination would play the role of a nurse, and they'll be given a scenario. So it is real-life learning that is happening along with their English language skill testing. Therefore, preparation for OET and using profession-specific examination like OET for healthcare would not just make them good in their linguistic ability, in their communication skills, but it would also reflect in their clinical competence as well, making them job ready.
Yeah, I think I can echo that. Thanks for that, Amit. Because I think that is one exam where it just actually does replicate real-world scenarios. You have a lot of language exams that, let's say, are a little bit artificial, but that's, I think, the good thing about OET. So we talked about it from the learning side, we talked about it from the testing side, so let's move on to what it's all about, the career side. They want to get some jobs. So Joseph Cherian we have, who's the country head for Global Nurse Force, and since I think about 25 years it's been dedicated to connecting talented nurses in the domestic market with international placements abroad, like places like UK, Ireland. I think I met some students earlier. Yes, you're there. One of you said UK, one of you said Ireland. He's your man for this one. He's a seasoned professional, Cherian is. He's got over 35 years of experience. And he's had a lot of leadership roles in various industries, including education and international recruitment. He successfully placed over 20,000, I think it is, healthcare professionals, and globally, and managed recruitment and training operations both in India and the Middle East. So Cherian, what I'd like to talk about first is the importance you feel as somebody in recruitment of the English language communication skills in international recruitment, and how crucial do you think it is to have English communication effectiveness in determining things like candidate placements? And in your experience, what are the most common communication-related gaps when you're, let's say, screening people like those 4 guys down there for when they're going for international placements?
First of all, good morning to everyone. And thanks to Burlington English for inviting me for such a wonderful panel discussion. Appreciate the team behind that. It's a good question. It's absolutely critical. The English communication is not just a recruitment requirement anymore. It is a patient safety issue primarily. If you look at hospital, communication is critical when it comes to the patient safety. Employees in UK and USA, they assess nurses' ability to communicate clearly in real-time situations. That is very critical there in daily life. And communication effectiveness can often determine whether a candidate is getting selected or not. Because in interviews, probably it may last maybe 10 minutes to half an hour's time. During that time frame, the nurse will have to communicate effectively, and then only based on that, the selection, they will be make it or break it, we'll be able to know about that. And about the communication-related gaps, I wish to say that candidates often struggle with spontaneous communication. Spontaneous communication is the key there. And also the scenario-based questions they are unable to answer properly, because if you look at the daily life in the hospital, they deal with a lot of case scenarios. And if they can explain that, they will get selected with international client hospitals. And another major challenge is the accent comprehension. Because if an Irish person is speaking English, definitely it is very difficult for an average nurse to understand the accent of that person. The US or UK accent is also sometimes challenging for the nurses. So these are some of the gaps I wish to say. And also about the support. In order to overcome this, we give a lot of intensive training for these nurses. And the clinical language immersion program, and we give that, many nurses are clearing the interviews very easily. We also provide communication coaching, because in the interviews, if they need to make it, they need to have a very good fluency in language. So we provide that. And these interventions help build both fluency and confidence for the nurses. And over the last 20 plus years, we have supported thousands of Indian nurses in securing international placements in UK and USA. UK primarily with the NHS Trust hospitals, and in the US with a lot of private sector hospitals in US. Those are premium facilities. I would say we operate primarily from California, where Hollywood is also there. And one of the hospital name is Hollywood Presbyterian. and where Hollywood stars are coming for treatment there. So when they come for treatment, our communication is very important. So primarily, we take care of that part seriously. And across these geographies, effective communication in English has emerged as one of the most critical thing. And for employers abroad, if I would say that language proficiency is not just about passing an exam like IELTS, OET or TOEFL. It is all about the ability to understand the clinical instructions, and they need to document the patient care accurately, and mostly in electronic health records, that is very important. And communicate compassionately with patients and their family. That's also very, very critical there.
Can I just ask then, Cherian, when do you think they should start doing these communication types of skills? Because usually a typical nursing program is a 3-year course, 4-year course.
Yeah.
As well. At what stage should that intervention start? Because you said you coach them when they're about to, have these interviews. When do you think it should start? The
interview preparation is primarily to crack the interview, because they need to make it. And in Malayalam, we call it as like Kadiril konda valamika. Kadir means in the farming industry, after the entire final thing is coming out, there is no point in teaching anyone.
Okay.
So it is not about nursing alone. In school sector itself, we need to develop the English language. It is not about the nursing course alone. And recently I found that the nurses who were passing out recently from these recent times, their language skills are much better compared to the old generation. Reason primarily would be a lot of AI generated or the new gen techniques are there to learn language. Yeah. That could be one of the reasons. Okay. But when it comes to patient safety, the hospitals are looking for the day-to-day communication. It is not about the accent or anything they're worried about. It is a patient safety issue for them. So it is very critical to have education, English language communication from early on. And institutions like Burlington English can play a huge role there. Because the kind of courses, I was going through the website of Burlington English, I found that the kind of courses you have developed is with a lot of narratives on day-to-day communication. That's very critical.
Excellent. That's good for us to know, though, as well. I think that's the important thing. It's matching that from what I've heard from the panel, the clinical effectiveness, because that's the end goal. Patient safety is there, and how can we not hinder that process there? I think we've got time for maybe one question from the floor. I think we've got a few minutes. Is that okay? Yeah, just one question. So if anybody would like to ask any of the panelists any one question, do let us know. Does anybody want to ask anything to any of the 4 panelists on there? Anyone? Do you, Simran? You're nodding. That's what I'm saying to you, Simran. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, Karthikeya, please, yeah. Have you got a mic? Or just loud voice, I'll repeat it. If there's one from the students, that would be good. Yeah, okay. Yes, Karthikeya, please.
First of all, thank you to the panelists for a very engaging and informative discussion here. I had one small question which I think is partly covered, but I would like to ask Mr. Amit Upadhyay. We are talking about English, and Sir mentioned that there's students nowadays, there is a, I think, general improvement or higher proficiency of young students in the English language, because there's a lot more English language communication that is happening in our daily lives. But is there really, still, do you feel, especially as a head of the OET testing organization, that there is a need specific to nursing, English language skills specific to nursing, that is separate from general English proficiency? What is that difference, if you could please elaborate?
Yeah, well, that's a very valid question. Thank you for bringing that up. And I think I would agree with you when you say that younger generations would have a lot more tools and a lot more English language communication going on. And I think Joseph here just touched upon that as well because of these new AI tools and language learning apps, etc. Therefore, there is definitely, it's a little better in the newer generations as compared to the older ones. But if you look at, practically what is still happening in the nursing college, and I'm going to rely on a lot of nursing college principals who are here in attendance today, a lot of learning would still end up happening in Malayalam. Would I be right in saying that? Now that's because, the comfort with your regional language, the language that you've spoken since childhood with your parents, with your peers, with your friends, and in your school, you would naturally become a lot more comfortable with that language. Therefore, when you start learning your BSc nursing, you end up, starting to use that language more often as compared to English. Now, I don't know if you would know this already, so I'm going to touch upon this. Most of the English language, high-stake English language assessments have a validity of 2 years of their score acceptance. Now, the reason why that is done is because the regulators, who accept, the scores of these high-stake English language assessments, they believe, there is a lot of academic research behind this, they believe that if you are not in an English-speaking environment for a continuous period of 2 years, your language ability in that, your effectiveness, your proficiency in that language is going to go lower. And therefore, you need to re-prepare and resit that examination to prove that you've got the same level of language proficiency again. So, to answer your question, if there is a BSc nursing course for 4 years, and if there is no structured English language communication course built with the nursing curriculum, then the candidates are going to lose their English language proficiency. And that is going to reflect throughout their careers. It's going to impact their career progressions, their deployment in the workforce, if they need to migrate, which Joseph here spoke about, to various countries. That is when they start getting into problems, and therefore, that is when they start going into those 3-month OET learning courses, preparing specifically for the test and trying to score what they need to. And that's where the interview preparation also starts playing a role. So I'm going to reiterate this. It is absolutely important and critical in many ways for English language, structured English language communication courses to be built in the nursing college curriculum itself. And players like Burlington, there is a lot of research behind the course that they've developed, the Burlington English for Nurses. Programs like these, where a lot of scientific research has been, has gone into preparing these, and the academic expertise and the language training expertise that they have in being able to deliver these courses to the nursing students is going to play a vital role if we were to move beyond the state that we are in and attract a lot more medical tourism, a lot more even intra-state tourism, for example, a lot more career progression opportunities in corporate hospital chains, for example, right? All of that is going to start becoming, we'll see all of that live once we start taking the first step towards integrating structured language learning programs at nursing colleges.
Okay, thank you, Amit, for that very comprehensive answer.
I wish to add...
Hopefully, Karthikeya, that answered your point? Yeah. I suppose we can test it by going into Dr. Roy's college and see if they are speaking in English after a while instead of a mix on that. Okay. Do we have time for one more? Oh, it's the students. Oh, the students who want to go to Ireland and the UK and Canada, I think it was. Do you want to ask a question? Please go ahead. Who do you want to ask a question to?
So we are representing Students Nurses Association of India, Kerala State Branch. And we are the first semester batch that Kerala's government had introduced a semester system in Kerala, and we are the first batch. And I'm just asking that we are already busy with the tight schedule of academics and clinical practice. And I think we don't have much time to get focused on studying English during this schedule. That means studying along with the BSc nursing course. So can you suggest any good ideas to overcome these issues?
Okay. Who do you want to direct that question to, or does anybody want to take it up? I think from talking to you earlier, you're in your 4th year. Yes. So you're doing your clinical side soon, and this is the 7th semester.
Yes, We are in semesters.
on that. So are you talking throughout the 4 years, or are you talking just at the back end, the last year that you're doing, that you don't get time?
No, we are just telling that we have lot of things to study.
Oh, a lot of
plus
things,
that
okay.
we have
So where do you fit it in?
yes.
Got it. Okay. Does anybody want to take that one up?
I wish to answer that. What's your name?
Afia.
Afia, I want to tell you that there is no shortcut. Honestly, we need to find time for everything, because if you schedule our day-to-day life, definitely we will be able to find time for that. And also, Dr. Roy was speaking about reading newspaper. That's a basic thing. I wish to reiterate about that, because in our childhood, if I tell you, I studied in a school where nuns were teaching, sisters were teaching us. And they made it very clear that I should read the newspaper in the morning itself. Without that, we will not be able to enter the school, because they'll start asking questions. So if you read an English newspaper, the GK is getting built and your language competency is getting developed. That is the two things which I want to tell you. And also, these days, if I tell you, I was observing everyone sitting over here, and I'm glad that nobody is looking at the mobile phones now. Whereas, if 5 people are sitting together, right now the situation is everyone start browsing mobile, and no one is interested in communicating each other. So, in a college or in a hostel where you are, instead of speaking in the regional language, if you want to improve your language, I wish if you can start speaking in English with peers itself. That's very, very critical. Because day-to-day communication, whatever mistakes we are making that with the peers only. And nobody is going to judge us. Everybody make mistakes. So that is very important. These are 2-3 things I wish to share with you. And a lot of language experts are. And also, if you browse website and other things, you will get a lot of innovative techniques where you can learn that from the website itself. And also another thing, there are a lot of places where you will be able to speak fluently with TED Talk and other things. You take some topics from that and debate that. You make a group of friends there and start debating about all those things. That's a brilliant way of developing your language.
Okay, thank you for that, Cherian. Did you want to add something? Yeah.
No, I was so much interested in that question. The question is very interesting, but many times, many agencies have tried giving this ongoing course simultaneously along with the BS nursing course or 3-year course. Generally, students back out after a time because there is no immediate gain or university examination, and they have a lot of work, assignments, clinical practice. It is, as a nurse, I know the course is overburdening. When the 4 years to complete, and with the summer system, it has become very tight. But on the other part, there are online courses available which they can take at their own time, or this step talk and stand-up comedies, everything which are interesting, because I stopped telling students to read newspapers because I think they will not. So that's even Malayalam they don't read, then how they are going to read English. So this type of things, like online the courses are there. Then avoid over-dependence on AI, because many of the letters now I get is written by AI, not by them. I know how my letter was corrected by the class teacher or the principal or the seniors when I wrote a letter for a request. Whereas now, whenever I write well-worded, well-structured letter comes to me, I ask whether it is AI, because they have the mobile, they take the AI. So, and they forget how it was written. So, over-dependence on AI, you cannot do it in the workplace or in a casual official communication or a when live communication, you cannot use. So, over-dependence on things like using AI will definitely affect the development of communication skills. You write a letter, you get corrected, or as Cherian told, when you talk and when you take mistakes and then you learn how to spontaneous communication can develop. That is the only way. Because in the 4-year course of BS nursing or 3-year course of general nursing, there is a small English portion is there in the syllabus that is very basic only. Doing another course is very difficult unless you are so motivated. But it is much easier to talk in English and learn English than doing a course during that time. If you talk with your teachers, if you talk with your classmates in English, whatever blunders you make, finally you will learn. That is the best thing to do.
Okay, so thanks for that. I know you've all got, so maybe we can mingle later, but I think we'll have to move on.
One line.
Please.
So when I just mentioned to all of you that my Malayalam was not very strong when I came here, but now, and that is what exactly I did, I learned with mistakes. So today, people laughed But then I knew it was a close team that was laughing at me, but they also corrected me. So, Venangi Chakka, Verelinkaikum. That's what I learnt, right?
And I think, just to sum up, I think if you're motivated, that's one thing, and it's to make time from what these people have said. What do you want to prioritize? Okay, so do you want to have your Friday night out, or do you want to do something there? But Dr. Roy made a good point. Do something not out of the extraordinary. Do something you routinely do, and can we tweak it to do something in English as well? Okay. Okay, so I think we'll wrap up there. I'd like to thank the panelists, Dr. Elizabeth, Cherian there, Dr. Roy and Amit. I think it's been a fruitful discussion. They'll be hanging around afterwards as well, so if you want to interact with them one-to-one, please do go ahead. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, okay. Oh, just be seated? Okay, thanks. Oh, just be seated, Cherian. I think she's...
Thank you to our panelists and to Cal for an incredibly thoughtful and forward-looking session. Your insights have truly laid the groundwork for the kind of initiatives and transformations we hope to see across the nursing profession. We now take a moment to express our gratitude and honor our esteemed guests who have contributed significantly to healthcare and nursing, as well as education. I would warmly welcome to the stage Mr. Saji Joseph, AGM Institutional Partnerships, Burlington English, to please accord a token of appreciation to Mr. Amit Upadhyay, Regional Director, South Asia, OET. Please, Saji, please step on the stage. Can we please have a round of applause? Various insights were shared. Saji, may I please request you, thank you, may I please request you to also felicitate Dr. Elizabeth David, Director, Nursing and Operational Excellence, Rajagiri Hospital, Kochi. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your insights were truly inspiring. Thank you so much, Mr. Saji. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now invite Mr. Nishikant Mishra, Senior Manager, Burlington English, to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Joseph Cherian, Country Head, Global Nurse Force. Thank you. Nishikant, I would now request you to also please accord Dr. Roy K. George, Director Academics, BMCN, to please honor sir with the token of appreciation from our end. Thank you, Nishikant. Thank you, dear panelists.
Thank you.
Yeah, but also last but not the least, I would love to invite Mr. Rakesh Goswami, DGN, Corporate Relationships, to please felicitate George John, Master Trainer, Burlington English. With a blazing round of applause, let's please welcome them warmly on the stage. Thank you so much. And I'm sure the session that will be following after this would stay with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dear panelists, thank you. Cal, over to you.
Check.
Are we done? Great, thanks. Thank you. Okay. Do you need this stuff on the stage?
It's okay.
Okay. Can we put the other one on? Okay, so while they just move away the chairs and things on there, we're going to have a workshop now. Hopefully a lively workshop. I'm pretty sure it is, and that's what George is going to conduct. Just a little bit of background about George. He's a corporate trainer, education advisor, and coach her across a range of exams that test English language proficiency, some of which we've heard of today. He provides a lot of support in driving these initiatives directly, as well as through partner associates with people like ourselves at Burlington. Excuse me. So some of his initiatives he's very passionate about. I think one in particular, Campus to Career, and also Train the Trainer programs. And these are targeted to equip especially young people, young high school people, undergraduates, postgraduate students, to maximize their capabilities in line with the industry requirements we've heard of today. I think he believes in growth by collaborating with a lot of institutions and professionals, like everybody in this room today. So let's hope for a nice interactive session, and I'll leave the floor to you, George. Okay?
Thank you very much. Should I say good morning or good afternoon? It's already 12, and we are moving into another interesting part. Moving from the stage to the floor. So now the stage is not going to speak, all of you are going to speak. I was just looking at the number of members here. I think there are about 35 members here. And assuming about 15 years of experience, probably more, I'm looking at about 525 years of experience in this room. Can you believe it? More than 5 centuries of experience. And so we want to hear from all of you as you pick up. Amit was asking me, George, what are you going to do? I said, we're going to learn from all of you. You're all esteemed guests with so much of experience and hard work. A big thank you once again for being here and for every minute of investment, all of you, in the academia and the clinical practices that I've been doing. Thank you very much for what you have been doing, and thank you for what you will continue to do to make a difference for many of us, including students, right? Can we all clap for them? Good, okay. But the future is there. That's the future, right? So can we all clap for them? Very good. They are the future, and they're already connected with us. Amit was talking about early engagement. So there's already an early engagement in the planning and deliberation. So for the only question that came from this part of the audience, Simran, maybe you could have some toffees to them, because they came up with a very good question, and that was on academic overload. So let's move forward as we give them some toffees, and I'm going to say which table is going to get maximum toffees for participation. The easy thing is to just ask questions, isn't it? Just ask questions, but you all have so much of experience. So let's hear from each other. Okay, so Cal, we go forward. We will do some quiz. We start with a quiz. We'll have some roll cards. We'll do discussion, riddles, and role plays. We have a cutoff also, so I might skip something so that we are still making up time, and we will not stop between this session and lunch. So we'll quickly finish a lot of things that we have to do. So let's start with a quiz. Now, what we'd like to do is, as the details are pulled up, one rule we're going to do is, what do you see on the screen? Communication will be in English, right? So Dr. Roy, where is he? He's gone? He was talking about harassment. I don't think there will be any harassment charges. No Malayalam, we're all going to speak in English. Is that okay? We have to have an English brain, and so even when we teach, we all encourage English as well. Okay, let's move forward, and we'll do a quiz now. So what I'd like you to do is, there'll be questions that will come on your phone. So I'd like to have one volunteer per table. One volunteer per table who would scan the code, and you can discuss and give the answers. So can you hold, one person, can you hold your phone in every table? I'm not going to speak in Malayalam, but you all know English, right? One person per table, can you hold up your phone? Yeah. You all have, okay, one person, Ashik, right? Ashik is holding it. Okay, this table, one person. Can you hold up your phone? I'd like one person per, okay. There. Your sister can come here. Not one more, yeah. Okay. Who's going to do that here? Who's going to do the answers here? One phone. One person per table. Yeah, one table, one phone. Can you all? So who's going to do it? You can do it. So you have to scan this. Scan the code. Yeah, scan the code. Can you scan this code? And then we will have questions on your phone. So what are we going to do? There will be questions on your phone, and we would expect you to discuss among your table, and that one person who's got the phone can press the right answer. And the winning team, the winning table is going to get some goodies. Did you hear that? The winning table will get some goodies. So you have to quickly discuss an answer. Yes? Who's that one person? Yeah, decide quickly. You got it? Yeah, when you're ready. Yeah, just scan. Ma'am, have you got it? Okay.
Okay, George, we've got five
Okay,
tables.
so one table is Roy K. George. Okay, you're doing it independently. Okay, that's okay.
He's up to the crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind, but we're looking at one table, so you should tell us whose answer is going to be the final one. Whose answer will be the final? All of us together. So who's this one? Okay, that's Elizabeth, is it? Winning. Oh, you're already winning. Wow. Look at that confidence. Yes. You got it? Okay, are you all ready? Have you got it? Is your name up there? Table 6. Okay, table 1. Yes, table 7. What's your name? Oh, you put in a table 7. Probably could have put some other name. Yes, table 6. Okay, table. What about table 5 here? Yeah, table. For the host to start. Yeah, we will start. We're going to start. Name here? No. Has this table dialed in? Have you put in a name? Elizabeth. You're Elizabeth, is it? Okay, so this table is called Elizabeth. Is it okay? So this is Elizabeth. Elizabeth table. Yeah, so all tables have dialed in, right? Okay. So what are we going to do? There will be questions on your phone, not on the screen. You'll have questions on your phone. This phone, okay? And you have to discuss your answer and you have to press the answer. The faster you press the answer, the higher marks you will get. Did you get it? Ready? Ashik, are you ready? Afia, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Question 1. Okay, time's up. There's only 30 seconds you will get. Okay? Okay, look at that. So there are 5. There you go. So table number 1 is leading. Okay, the answer is, it's already there. Effective communication reduces medical errors and improves patient outcomes. That's good. Let's go next. Next question, quickly. It's there on your screen. Quickly discuss and answer. Four have answered, 4 more to go. Time up. So 6 have answered. You have to be fast, all your tables. Okay, let's see the leaderboard now. Oh, table 1 is leading. And who's Usha? Which is the table called Usha? Okay. Table 2, Ushas are also leading. Okay, did you see that report? It says, according to the India Skills Report 2024, it's not appearing. Okay, what is your name? Eldo. Is the Eldo there? It's there? Yeah, it's there. Okay, so according to the Skills Report 2024, guess how many graduate students are employable? Out of a total of 55% students who graduate become employable, only 35% students are nursing students. So the percentage of nursing students who become employable is expected to be only 35% at this rate, wherein the industry average is 55%. Do you see the gap? Who can fill the gap? All of us. All of us together can fill that gap of employability, as Cherian is saying. Only 35% are employable. We can make the difference. Okay, let's move forward. Come on, let's see Eldo team. Okay, 6 have answered. Eldo team, have you answered? Quick. There you see a countdown here. Only 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, time's up. So 7 out of 9 have answered. And the answer is, you see that, most of you got it right. Okay, so that's the leading. So what was the answer to the key communication skill for excellence in patient care? What was the answer? Empathetic listening. The report says there are many skills that are required. Clear, understandable language, asking clarifying questions, requesting patients to clarify, patient's belief and culture. But the most important thing is empathetic, active listening, paying close attention to the patient's verbal and non-verbal clues and show empathy. Isn't it interesting? That is what the report says, and so it's very important for us to be able to teach that through real life situations, the importance of empathetic listening. That is so important. Okay, let's move forward. Table 1 is leading. Will they get the prize or will that be some other table? Let's wait. Usha table, maybe winning. Not working? You submitted, is it? Yeah, it's already. Okay. 6 out of 9 have said it is poor spoken English communication. That is correct. Okay, so table 1 is leading and Usha, table 2 is following close. Will you be able to overtake them? Let's go to the next question. Let's see what comes out. Effective communication impact on a nurse's growth. Yeah. So what was the answer? The answer was it builds trust and teamwork. There's a report by NHS Digital which says the largest subject area in written complaints of patients, the largest contributor to written complaints, you know what it is? Communication. Communication. Yeah, we all say that clinical competence is very important and that we are all focusing. And that focus should continue. That is primary, that is key. But what is the contributor to the complaints is communication. What percentage it is, we'll come back again. There'll be another question. So keep that in mind. Better the communication, better the relationship, better the trust level. And more effective is the medical care also. Okay, let's go forward. Cal, thank you for your help. challenging. All done? Let's see what the answers are. 3, 2, and 1. Team Eldo, what happened? Yeah, see, it enhances employability and potential for higher learning. Okay. There you go. So table 1 followed by Elizabeth. Elizabeth there, okay, okay. They're using your name, okay. So that basically says that practicing all these things are very, very important. Okay, so it enhances employability and potential for higher growth. Okay, let's go to the next question. Yeah, not getting the question? Some problem with your internet. You're getting it? What did he answer? 4, 3, 2, 1. Most of you have got your answers correct. 5 out of 9 say it is 60%, and the answer is correct. 60% of the contribution to bad or complaints is communication. 60%. Okay, table 1 leading. Next question. Okay, let's see if this is the table that comes through. Okay. Stuck with the data, I think, internet issue. Five out of 9 have answered. 10 more seconds. What is the answer, table 1? Time up. Okay, so 7 out of 9 have said practicing patient role plays is an effective way to improve communication skills. Table 1 still leading, Elizabeth following, and then Usha team. Okay. Did you see what comes out? All of us accept that it is not a theoretical teaching methodology that most of our institutes are having. But as Cherian also was saying, it is practical, situation-based, and the word he uses, spontaneous communication. That was so special, isn't it? Spontaneous communication based on the situation is what is important. Would you like to have platforms that encourage students to go for spontaneous communication? Ashik, what do you think? Ashik and Afia. Would you like a platform which is self-paced? You can decide your own pace, and it will still help you to go in for spontaneous communication. You will learn how to spontaneously communicate in different situations. Would you like a platform like that? Even if you have academic overload, studies, work, internship, work at home, but still, even if you take a little time, as Cal was saying, Friday, you sacrifice some of your fun activity and take some time out to open that digital platform and then do some questions. Some pronunciation, some speech training. Get a feedback from the tool itself of how well you have done. Record your voice again, record your pronunciation, get the result and move forward. Will you like it? Yeah. If it is fun, like this, if it is fun-based, yeah, that is the need of the hour. Make learning as fun. Enjoy learning. Always learning. Yeah, okay, let's move to the next question. Great question. Working? Good. Working? Oh, good. Already answered. Most of you, very clear. We should have decreased the time. 7 out of 9 have already answered. Waiting for the result. Which aspect of communication is most critical during a medical emergency? And most of you have answered and said it is clear and concise instruction. Remember, I said there are more than 5 centuries of experience. You all getting the right answers. It's coming to clear communication. There is a CN healthcare which says clear communication is most critical in life-saving situations. Most critical. Okay? So a structured framework, very, very, very brief with words, but very clear with words. The right tone at the right time, whether it be a patient or a doctor or the patient's bystanders. Communication is key. Let's move forward. Last question of the day decides the winning table. Wow, 7 out of 10 already answered. Last 10 seconds for the game. 7, 5, 4. Amit is laughing. Are you guys going to win? No. Okay, time's up. Let's see what you have to say. Yeah, most of you saying 8 say it is leading to medical errors and patient harm. Yeah. Communication breakdown. Communication breakdown is a leading cause of adverse patient events. That is the importance of communication. Okay, so what's the final? Let's see which is the winning team. And we have some goodies for the winning team. Table 1. Okay. Yeah, you can give it to them. Yeah. Table 1. So can we all stand? Table 1, can you all stand up? Can we all clap for them? They have something special. They are the winning team. Table 2. No, you could. Or Sriram, yeah. Srikanth, one of you can come. You worked hard. Very good. Good job. Did you enjoy this game? Sometimes it may not be winning as these people named themselves. We're still winning. You're still winning? Yeah, of course. That's the spirit. The big thing is they're participating and you're learning and you're still enjoying and you're still alert. I can see the glow in your eyes, right? That's the way it has to be. English learning has to be fun. And that is what, after my session, Shweta ma'am is going to come and talk about how English learning can be fun. Okay? The classroom has to be, when I go and teach nursing students, they look forward for the class. They miss everything and come because they enjoy working together, doing things together, speaking, listening, reading, writing. They mix the whole thing. At the end of the session, I asked them, what did they like? He said, sir, games was very good. Because they allowed fun, isn't it? Okay, great. Let's move on to the next activity. Okay, here are about 10 roles. And let's see which is the table that gets all the roles correct. And you have to shout, stand up and shout, Burlington. Come on, write quickly. There are 10 roles. Let's see which table does this quickly. Just fill the missing blanks. They are all 10 nursing roles. You are better to write. If you can say it, fine. It's basically yeah, okay. Elizabeth ma'am wants to say it. Okay. Why don't you write? Let everybody do it. You'll already know. You already know it, is it? Okay, the table that gets it. Okay, there's one hand. Can we have a mic? Mic number 7. Mic number 7. Okay, who's got it? Yeah, stand up and speak up. Mic number 7.
Auxiliary nurse midwife, A&M, healthcare assistant, general nurse midwife, registered nurse, staff nurse, senior staff nurse, then senior, yes, what was it?
Oh,
yeah. Okay, nurse educator, matrons, nurse. Sister, sister charge nurse, nurse educator, matrons, nursing superintendent, and chief nursing officer.
Very good. Can we clap for them? Simran, some toffees for table number 7. Let's see table number 3. Who wants to go? Yeah, go ahead.
It's already come.
Oops. You all got them correct. Did you?
I did it, but my team could not participate
But I asked you to stand up. Stand up and say, Burlington, follow instructions. Follow instructions. Thank you. I like your spirit. Thank you very much. If you have high spirits, your students will also have high spirits. Very good. Thank you very much for the participation. So these are 10 roles. But what I understand from various councils, the American Nursing Council, the Indian Nursing Council, there are 20 major roles that have been recognized by the nursing councils. But other than the 20 major roles, there would be multiple specializations the nurses are. Yeah, Dr. Elizabeth was talking about specializations, whether it be renal, whether it be dialysis, you go to cardio, you have different specializations, OT, another specialization, CCU, another ICU. There are so many specializations that nurses can get into and be employable, not only employable, but be able to grow in their career, not only in terms of their roles and responsibilities, but also in terms of their compensation and benefits. Create value, not only through clinical communication, but also through language communication. Look at that word. I love this word. What does it say here? Where language meets care. Both are important, isn't it? It covers everything. Safety also gets covered in care. Dr. Elizabeth was talking about safety for patients, language and care. How do you balance this out? Isn't that a challenge for all of us as nursing educators? How can you use language and care together? Okay, let's move to the next one. We'll just skip this, Cal, and we'll... We don't have time, we have just 15 more minutes. You do one? Want to do one?
The answers.
Okay, so let's skip. We don't have time. Okay, now let's go to this question. I'd like you to discuss among your tables and talk about 3 barriers that nurses will encounter as they go this journey of developing English communication skills. Write 3 barriers. Just discuss among your table and pick up the 3 most important critical barriers to learning. Barriers to learning or developing excellent English language communication. You have 2 minutes. The table activity you can discuss. Ready? Okay. Which table is ready? Okay. We'll come to all tables. So table Usha is ready. Very good. Ready in season and out of season. Always ready. Let's see. Yeah. Can we all have your attention, please?
A primary
the winning team.
barrier which is seen among
Can
nurses is the
wait,
use
ma'am,
of...
Wait. Can we have all your attention? Okay, yeah.
The primary barrier which we feel is the use of local languages, which is there. And the second one is use of too much of abbreviations to express their communication.
Example?
And for example, RU, they will be using R and U instead of writing it in full, and it may sometimes club up with some other words meaning something else.
Okay, and where do they use these abbreviations?
In the charts, in the reports.
In the charts, okay.
Not confident in using the language.
Lack of confidence. Lack of confidence. But the lack of confidence, as Dr. Elizabeth said, if you do a RCA, a root cause analysis, and you ask 5 whys, why lack of confidence? Because they can't speak. Why can't they speak? Because they have not learned. Why did not they learn? You keep going deeper and deeper, do an RCA, and you'll really know what is the root cause, and then what has to be done, what intervention is required, when it is required, how it is to be done, so that they are able to build their language skills. I'm sure one of the Dr. Roy gave us a peek into the future. Burlington is talking about English for nurses. I'm sure peek into the future could be language for nurses, isn't it? Because anywhere, everywhere, all the time, nursing care has to be made available. And it is language which is the medium to be able to communicate and elicit the desired response and action. Yeah, so that's an opportunity for us also. Okay, so you talked about 3. Anyone else has some other additional points? Yes, table 6.
One is lack of interest.
Lack of interest.
Second one is lack of confidence.
Mhm.
And third one is lack of perseverance.
Lack of perseverance. Why do you think that happens? Lack of interest. Are you talking about lack of motivation?
Not because of lack of motivation. They are not interested in, because continuous trial may not be there.
They don't persevere.
For that, they need, the person itself need interest in language.
Interest. And why do you think that is not there? Okay. Necessity. The target is just to complete the course somehow.
Even if we are saying them, you please talk in English, they won't open their mouth. But when they go for IELTS and OET, they are struggling to get it.
They're struggling.
So because of they are paying money for that, they want to get it. Other than we are saying in the colleges, they are not opening. They are, it's go, finish, like
Okay, Sorry, need-based. So is there any good practice that any one of you wants to share to be able to counter this and say, go, not required now, but encourage them to speak in English? Is there any good practice anyone can share? It might be in a small pocket where you've seen success, but maybe we can learn from you. More than 500 years of, yes? Exam pattern. In practicals, okay. Or maybe the educators have to change, right? It has to start with me. If I have to explain in English, my instructor, when I did my certification, taught me and said, you will interpret English using English language, not the regional language. Don't teach them English using Malayalam. Teach them English using English language. Now that's a challenge, isn't it? Credit marks you have to give, okay. Incentivize them to speak in English. Any other good practice? Any suggestions you have? Because you are the taught, you are the future. Any suggestions you have? How can we create motivation among students to learn English?
Like we said, we can make it a mandatory to speak in English during our OSCE exams and EOPs, and increasing the communication skills during the presentation, seminar. Like we have so many clinical requirements to do. So while doing a presentation or seminar, make it mandatory to make use of language English for proper communication and understanding.
So enforce discipline. Will you like it? To some extent. Okay, yeah.
So
I think that is the question, that is the challenge all of us have, right? We want you to learn because you're going to be taking the flag forward. But the point is you have to like it and enjoy it. The persistence, the consistency has to be there. Yes?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Being interacting with a lot of nursing students like them, one easy tip that in a discussion with these students that we agreed upon was that everyone has time to watch something or the other on Netflix or Prime, an English series for that matter.
Of course.
So why not switch off the subtitles? That would help them to follow the language.
Switch off the subtitles.
So that is something that we both agreed, and they also were very happy about it, so that they can enjoy understanding the language.
Wow. Yeah. Why not switch off the subtitles? Yes?
Instead of spending time on boring assignments, they can watch what interests them, and they can learn. They can get a peek into the culture of the country. If they are watching US shows, they'll understand the culture of that country, and it gives them a lot of exposure. Maybe start with subtitles if you and then later on switch. And in platforms like Netflix, you can go back and watch again.
Ashik, I'm going to ask you what he said.
Okay. So if you don't understand, initially you can go back and watch it again to understand what they're saying, understand their accents, and how they speak. So it will be a very good exposure. It's a very good idea.
Good idea they're saying. Yeah. Can you hear her? Can you give it? Exposure to the culture.
Yeah, when they watch. Actually, I suggest to my students in between.
Let's hear.
So previously also I used to suggest to my students, especially recently when they had not exactly English, when they had difficulty with German language, I suggested some of them, please try watching some movies so that you, from lip movements, you can read certain things.
Yeah.
With subtitles, you can interpret later on.
Get into that environment
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
continue to hear a lot, they get to read a lot,
Yeah,
they
and-
get to see a lot. Yeah.
And for Netflix series, most of them are addicted to some of the series, so
Yeah,
they will be
yeah.
definitely watching them over
Yeah.
and
Use
over
the
again.
addiction to the advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Dr. Elizabeth has something to say. Mike. Yeah.
So one of the things that I had done when I was a charge nurse, I mean, this was in Mumbai. So what we did is we had positive points for those who spoke in English. This is, of course, at the workplace. Once they are working in the unit after their nursing college. So the ones who spoke in English got positive points, and the ones who caught somebody else speaking in another language got negative points. And they were felicitated. You know, the ones who scored the highest points were felicitated at each month. So this kind of made it not in a disciplinary way, but in a fun way, made sure that people speak in English while they were at work.
Incentivize those who
Yes,
speak in English. But
yes.
who would catch them? Who would police them?
Anybody, like if I catch another nurse speaking in another language other than English, I can point out, and I get positive points for that.
You
But
get positive points to point out that
Point
error.
out someone.
Okay.
And someone who, sorry? I was a charge nurse, so I had no chance to do that. But my junior nurses were allowed to do that.
Wonderful, okay.
And the ones who scored the highest were kind of at the end of the month in a unit meeting, kind of recognized, and so it made it a little fun for them to speak.
Wow. Does that make sense to all of you? You're all leaders, academicians. Incentivize those who are speaking in English, and there would be some effect for that. Yeah,
George,
because
I
they
have
to
a
keep listening.
follow-up idea to the Netflix thing. So there are few medical shows, okay, like Grey's Anatomy and House. They might have a lot of plot holes also, of course. They just use medical jargons, etc. So the students can watch that and maybe spend 5 minutes in the college, in the class, discussing the plot holes and what was actually true. So that way they're listening to that. There are a lot of medical, terms that are being used. So they're also being exposed to that, and they have seasons and seasons being dragged on. And then they can actually, also, do some critical thinking on it. And at the same time, discover and discuss the English jargon.
Wow. Yeah, so Ashik, what did you pick up out of all these things? I told you. Yeah, so this is how we are all learning, right? And a good way to learn also is not only to listen, but also to record. So then you can reproduce. Receive, record, and reproduce. If you learn something, you go and tell Afia, this is what I learned. So the best way to learn also is by teaching. Okay, so what did you hear out of all this? Good practices to build English language competence. No need mic, but we all want. Yeah, this is a good thing. Yeah, just have fun.
Okay,
We are all enjoying, and we feel very special when you're participating. You're very important for us. So thank you very much for sharing.
Okay, they have already told that you must watch movie while doing the subtitles off. So as a primary viewer or as a primary learner, we have to, for me, I am the one who focused only on Malayalam movies. If anyone, if Afia instructed me to watch an English movie, if I watch it again and again, it may
Might
not
get
be get understand for me.
Not
so
fully.
not being understand for me. So if there is, as a primary viewer, if there is subtitle, it is also a mode of learning English.
Right.
So and practicing it, if there are many words, some words have different meanings and.
Yeah. Correct. Keep going. Yeah, you're doing very well. Yeah, we hear you. Making
some
sense.
particular two words have similar meanings. So the students only know the simple
meaning,
simple
normal-
language.
normal used
So if you want to practice bit more level up to high grade level up. So you should watch the movies with the subtitles, and after you get an ultimate.
You get the meaning, you get the context.
Meaning, you should switch off that subtitles and watch the movies.
Watch again. Yeah. Thank you. Can we all clap for them? That's the way we are learning, right? And also another good thing, Ashik, would be instead of watching, just hearing. Because language, the way we were grown up, when we grew up, how did you learn Malayalam? When you said Amma, Appa, did you read? Did you see? You heard. There is a story of a child that was born to a deaf and dumb couple, and the child also could not speak because the child never heard words. So how would the child learn? Learning starts by also hearing. And most of us as Indians are auditory learners. There are different learning styles, but auditory capacities are always used, right? So good thing also is to just listen. And as Mr. Cherian was saying, if you listen to English news from UK, news from Canada, Canada Broadcasting Corporation, Australia, Ireland, you'll not only get the language, but you'll also get the general knowledge. Some of you said you'll also learn the culture. Yeah, you understand the culture, you understand the general knowledge, you get the words, the vocabulary, and the accent. But you have to take effort and sacrifice a little bit for a long-term investment. Are you guys ready? Will you also go back and work with all these educators so that together as a community we can encourage everyone to learn together? Because we have the maximum population of nursing students and the capability. So can we as a country produce more and more smart nurses, not only nurses who want to show compassion and care, but who can communicate that through their language. Very good. Okay, so if there are the three barriers, let me just go forward and next one, Cal. Yeah. Pick up and tell me out of this, which is that number one thing that hits you the most? You said most of them. Which is that number one barrier that is the biggest barrier that you should address? The biggest barrier. There are a lot of barriers here. Time constraints. Yeah, Ashik and Afia were talking about time constraint. You have an academic overload. Oh, I have to study, I have to work. Where is the time to learn English, right? Time constraint. Lack of digital access. Mr. Cherian was saying, oh, too much of theory. Dr. Roy was saying, too much of theory, no fun. Can we have some fun-based, interactive, kind of a self-paced digital platform where you can learn? Not only learn, but as in your speech, you can record and get feedback. All on your own. If you want to play role plays depending upon situations, you can have role plays with that tool. If Afia and Ashik can't do it together, Afia can just open the tool and do herself, do a role play. How's that? If you don't know how to do it, you just listen to people in the tool itself talking to each other as a role play, and then you replicate it. Will that make sense? Yeah, I think the key lies with us as students first. If we have the desire, I think all this senior faculty, they are ready to invest in our lives. We have to take that initiative and move forward. Okay, and so my question was, which is the biggest barrier? Yes? Confidence. Confidence is a demonstration of something else. There is a root cause. If you ask why lack of confidence, that's what Dr. Elizabeth is saying. Ask why 4 times or 5 times and find out why. Yes? Sorry? Yeah, native language interference. Yeah, that's a big challenge. So we'll have to unlearn. That means you have to unlearn and then keep listening to the right way of pronunciation, the right way of language construction. Yeah, that's important. Anything else from anyone? Sorry? Grammar and sentence construction. But then if you just take a book and read and say, let us do simple past, past perfect, past continuous, present continuous, that's going to be, it's even for teachers, it's very boring. But if you have a situational based environment and you have to do something around that and then learn tenses, even if you have to write case notes, how will you use tenses in a case note? Now that will make it interesting, isn't it? So if you have a writing exercise where you have to make some small case notes based on a situation, will that help? Yeah, these are some opportunities if you have a digital platform. That's what we want to bring in. That's why we say, if you look at the first one, you say Burlington English for Nurses, global nursing starts here. We are basically talking about communication skills and something that is easy to understand, easy to execute. I've been teaching some students where they've paid for it. But on a weekend, they will again go to Netflix and just go out. You paid for it, Makle. You have the money, you paid for it. You learn. No, sir, we will attend your class. After that, we don't have time. No, that discipline has to come in so that we are able to encourage students to self-learn, because that's the way the world is moving forward. Okay, so if that is so, let's move forward quickly. I think our time is up. Let's go to the last. Yeah, listening, speaking. We talk about 4 skills. I had a lot of things to say, but shall I just go to the end? Yeah. Let's see, no, just before Sarita's breakthrough. I just want to tell you 2 stories. These are real stories, okay? The first one is the next one, yeah. This is about Sarita. Sarita was a nurse from Ambala, North India. Yeah, just open up, yeah. Look at her profile. From Ambala, she went to Tamil Nadu to a mission-run nursing hospital. Her Hindi was broken, Tamil was broken, English was also broken. She, toda, everything was little, konjam, right? Her positives, look at it. Bright, hardworking, top of her class in clinical procedures. Very good. What was the problem? Writing and speaking. What was the result? A doctor once told Sarita, look at the bottom, your work is good, but if the family doesn't understand you, what is the use? If you can't communicate. And what was the self-talk Sarita was having with herself? What did she tell herself? I feel. Do you find that in nursing students? Can't communicate. I know what to say. I have a lot of things to say. My heart melts and reaches out to this patient, but I don't know how to say it. That was Sarita's challenge also. Okay, fast forward. Sarita's priority was understood by the principal, Sister Mercy D'Souza. She decided to start Speak English Fluency Hour every morning at 7 a.m. Way before the classes start, she would start those classes and then started engaging some other teachers also. And she always used to say, remember, communicate with care and confidence. Okay, next slide. Yeah, in those things, yeah, previous one, Cal. Yeah, look at that. They did role plays. They discussed discharge summaries in the class, 7 a.m. class. They had reading case notes which they were supposed to read aloud. What else? Recorded voices. Peer feedback was given. One more thing. In the evenings when Sister Mercy had time, when she was having tea, she would call every student one-on-one. One student for 10 minutes each. This is a real life story. And she would mentor them, talk to them one-on-one in a soft tone. What's happening with you? What's working for you? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? She was also mentoring. Look at her passion and the investment that she would have been doing in those students minute by minute. It may not have yielded results immediately, but long term, did it yield results? Let's go forward and see. Sarita finished her BSc and she applied at a private hospital. It was a super specialty hospital and she was interviewed. And you know what that HR manager said? Go to the next slide. What does it say? Can you read, Asha? Your answers? Read that.
Your answers were not only correct but comfort.
How's that? Your answers were not only correct but comforting. Would you like to hear that when you go for a job interview? And she was not only hired for that, she also got almost 1.5 times the salary. True story. She cracked that job interview. From a situation where she said, I am useless, now she's saying, I have the language, thanks to Sister D'Souza, today I am useful. I can communicate. That was a breakthrough. Okay? She could never speak up. I could never. But my principal didn't just teach me English, he taught me to speak with. That's a big word, right? Even in OET. Yeah, purpose has number 1 priority. Speak with purpose. If you meet a consultant doctor, what is the purpose of your communication? If you meet a patient, what is the purpose? If you meet a bystander, what is the purpose? The purpose will be different for every conversation. What is the purpose? What is the outcome? How should I say? How much should I say? How should I start? There are so many frameworks available. And if that communication is structured and we learn that, you will meet that purpose. That is so important. Okay, so principal not only gave her confidence building, what else did she get? She got dignity. dignity. She felt good about herself. Okay, let's move forward. So this is what can make a difference. The principal who? Ashik, read loudly. Number one. How many times a week? Daily, every day. You can't go to the gym once a week and build your muscles, right? It has to be daily, little by little, word by word, sentence by sentence. You have to climb. Okay, next one. It has to be, learning has to be in the light of clinical scenarios, because your surroundings are always clinical. And that is the competence that we have to build. Language is not a subject, it's just a medium to show your clinical competence. Okay, last one. That's the challenge for all of us in the academia. Can we mentor students? Even a few minutes every day, can we mentor a child, speak to the heart of that child, that student, encourage that, and you will see a lot of Saritas going up. And that was the principal's priority too. And I'm sure this is your priority also. So a big thank you for keeping this as priority, and that shows by your presence here. Thank you very much, and we wish that we'll all learn as a community to make more Saritas. One more thing. Okay, so how can Burlington collaborate is a question that I want to leave with you to reflect. If you have any specific questions or comments, please stay back, talk to all of us. We'll be happy to interact with you and see how we can work together to help you to build this skill. One more story and I'll end with that. Okay, so maybe we'll stop here. Do you have any questions? Any comments? Okay, so
just one small thing can I
sure
mention to the audience. So I think without explicitly saying it, George created a very good example of what can be done, in a very small way in the classroom setting. He asked Asif, right?
Ashik.
Ashik, okay. He asked Ashik to articulate what he learned from the discussion that was happening. Now, even if we do that small thing in a classroom where there is a learning that was imparted to them, and they can come in front of the class and articulate that in English, that would probably go a long way. So without explicitly mentioning it, you created a very good example here.
Thank you.
Just wanted to
Thank you.
draw that out.
So language learning, English language learning is not an option. It is transformation. We are transforming the way we interact with patients, and the students, the nursing students interact with patients and with bystanders and with doctors and medical healthcare professionals, right? So helping them understand good frameworks. We had some frameworks, we didn't have time, but good frameworks, how to deliver good news, how to deliver bad news. There is a framework for everything. I had something. Okay, so it's always important to understand how to speak and use a structure. And if we can do that, we can really transform the healthcare industry. The future is in our hands. You are the future. So thank you very much for doing this. Thank you very much for being here. And we trust that this interaction not only now, but the next one that Shweta is going to come forward and show about the digital platform is going to be very, very, very helpful. So I'll just pause here and let the next session take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, George. That was very hands-on, very practical, and I think it engaged everyone, not just the audience, but us as well. It was very enthralling. And again, it was something that left everyone with new tools and ideas to apply in their daily roles. And now we come to a very exciting moment. Burlington English is proud to announce the launch of new innovative language and communication training program specially designed for nurses, which is called Burlington English for Nurses. This is the first time that we are stepping in this domain, and with you all in the audience, we are really, really glad that we can share this moment with you. This course is a step forward in empowering those who care for everyone. Our nurses with the skills they need to communicate confidently, effectively, and empathetically in real-world healthcare environments. I request Mr. Rakesh, Shrikant, Kal, Shweta, Nishikan, Saji, to all please step up on the stage, and of course Kartikeya, for the launch of our new program, that is Burlington English for Nurses. Can we please have a round of applause? Please line up on the stage. Now, this groundbreaking program has been envisioned and developed by one of the finest professionals in our team, who is none other than Ms. Shweta Naman, Deputy Head of Content, Adult Learning and Test Prep. With over 15 years of experience in education, content and training, Ms. Naman is our product expert and the driving force behind Burlington English for Nurses. She will now take us through the course's features, structure, and how it supports skill building in communication, patient interaction, and professional development. Please welcome Ms. Shweta Naman with a hearty round of applause. Thank you so much, Ms. Shweta. Please take the stage.
So hello everyone. So just say hello. I need to see the energy. How is the dosh? No dosh? Great. So my name is Shweta, and seriously, thank you all for sticking around for this final session. I just appreciate your patience, seriously, a lot. Now, I promise that we are going to switch gears now, and I'll make this hands-on, right? So after a long and great discussion that we have had today, I'm excited to show you Burlington English for Nurses in action. So are you all ready? Did not hear it. Are you all ready? Yes. Great. So, as soon as you click on the course, you can see a rich set of components which are there, right? And these components, they create a complete and flexible learning experience. But let's begin by exploring the heart of the course, which is the student lessons. So you can see from module 1 till module 12 there are. Just give me a moment. So this course is structured around 12 modules, you can see, and these are all based on situations. These are all based on themes which are there in the practical scenario. These are the practical situations which the nurses face in daily life. And these are further divided into units. You can see, so there are 4 listen and speak unit, and there are 4 read and write unit, plus 1 review unit. Review unit is the checking of the understanding, checking of the concept, whether the learner has understood the concept or not. Right? So these are all based on practical scenarios. So we are not teaching through lectures, but we are teaching through situations, right? Okay, and these modules, they are the micro learning package. I believe Afia asked the question, right, that she mentioned that they don't have time. So here we are, we have developed these micro learning packages which are not only visually interactive, but they give you the experience, they make the learning effortless, and it is fun to learn, right? Now let me show you how it handles the skills that we are talking about. So I have clicked on the listen and speak unit, which starts with introduction. So this is the context building. Whatever the learner is going to learn, so this is a real-time interaction between 2 people, 2 nurses, or a patient and a nurse. So scenarios may differ, unit-wise, module-wise, so there are n number of scenarios that we have worked on. So there are various scenarios. I believe that there must be infinite scenarios that a nurse is working on, but definitely these scenarios will help them pick up the language that they need for handling those situations in the real world healthcare setting. So let's listen to this. It's not showing up.
I'm afraid not. I'm just so tired.
Just play it again. I'll just play it again so that you can listen to the conversation that is going on.
Good morning, Mr. Bennett.
Morning, Priya.
Are you feeling any better today?
I'm afraid not. I'm just so tired.
So you can see how the nurse is building a rapport with the patient.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. It's probably your medication. I want to introduce you to someone. This is Annie. She'll be helping to look after you from today. Annie, this is Mr. Bennett.
Hello, Annie. Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you, Mr. Bennett. And are you still finding the ward too noisy?
Oh, no. It's nice and quiet now, thank goodness.
That's good news.
I want to get up today. Do you think that's possible?
Yes, sure. But you also need plenty of rest.
So you can see how it is done in a real world healthcare setting where a nurse is interacting with the patient and trying to build a rapport with the patient. Just asking for the well-being, how are you doing, and also like empathizing with the patient. So this is all done in the real world health scenario. Coming to the next section, this is words. I would like to invite some of the Gen Z that we have here. Afia, would you like to come and record yourself after listening to the presentation, this pronunciation? Please come. Great going. Please come. Please come. You do it yourself. So you click on a word.
Sleepy.
Then you click on this mic and say it. Sleepy. Repeat it.
Sleepy.
Loud. It did not recognize because you were not loud enough. You have to say it loudly in the mic. Yeah. After 3 blinks, just speak.
Sleepy.
I think we should reset and do it. There's a real-time feedback.
Sleepy.
Now do it.
Sleepy.
Try it louder.
Sleepy.
Yeah, Rakesh, please do.
My voice is slightly loud. Let me try. Let me pick the same word.
You can reset.
Sleepy.
Okay, let me reset this first.
Yeah.
So the students can reset, right?
Yes, the students can reset.
Sleepy.
Sleepy. Oh, I think this mic. Sleepy. So because of mic only.
Because of
it's echoing.
Yeah. No issues.
It's picking up, but the AI is not able to recognize.
even if the student is shy and he or she does not want to practice in front of someone, then they can do the self-study, they can pronounce the word, they can listen to the exact pronunciation, they can pronounce it themselves and get the real-time feedback, as long as they do it in the perfect manner. So this is what is there, and they get the real, yes. So there are four, you see there are four, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it will show you, there are 4 blocks that you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The round circle has 4 blocks. So it will give you the feedback, what percentage, like if it is like 25% correct, it will show you only one block is blue, and then if it is 75% correct, it will show you like 3 blocks are blue. So that's how it gives you the feedback. Yes, circle. And you can also listen to your own recording. When you click on this blue button, right? So you can also listen to your own recording and decide whether you are like exact in the pronunciation or not. Now moving forward, so this was about the word stress or the pronunciation of the words. Now let's move on, but the words pronunciation will not do in the real life. We have to move on from words to sentences. So here we are. This is the role play that George has also talked about, that we are doing the role plays, right? So role plays are real-time conversation of 2 nurses, but it is done in a healthcare setting so that they understand, the students learn and understand through a model conversation, how the conversation goes and how they have to react. So subconsciously, what is it doing? It is giving them language in their subconscious mind, so that whenever they are in conversation with someone, maybe in a different scenario, but they can pick up the language from here, right? So let me play.
Good evening, Mrs. Paul. My name's George. How are you today?
Oh, hello, George. Nice to see you. Not too bad, but it gets a bit boring in here.
I suppose that's true. Do you want some books or magazines to read?
Thanks. That would be lovely if you get a minute.
No problem.
We have some in the day room. Now, are you eating any better?
Not really. I just don't fancy anything.
Eating is important as it builds your strength up so you can go home.
I know, but I don't like the food here.
Today we're serving a really nice curry.
That sounds good.
And are you drinking enough water?
Yes, I think so, and lots of tea. Here comes the trolley now.
So what do you think of the conversation? Is it showing empathy? Is it showing care? Is it motivating the patient to eat more and to drink a lots of water? So care, empathy, everything is there. And I'm sure you might be facing these situations on an everyday basis, right? Am I right? Yes. So this gives the language. Now here comes the next step. You have heard the model conversation. After that, the students can also choose a role and they can just practice. They can play it.
Good evening, Mrs. Paul.
My name's George. How are you today?
Oh, hello, George. Nice to see you. Not too bad, but it gets a bit boring in here.
I suppose that's true. Do you want some books or magazines to read?
Thanks. That would be lovely if you get a minute.
No problem.
So here we are. If we want to model this conversation, if we want to just do it ourselves, we can just say the sentence. We have to click on the mic. It is blinking. After 3 blinks, like we have done for the word section, we can do here for the sentence. And we can just say it out loudly. Thanks. That would be lovely if you get a minute.
No problem.
So
we have
it
some
will
in
give
the
you
day
the
room.
feedback over here.
Now, are you eating any better?
Not really. I just don't fancy anything.
Then here you are
Eating
getting.
is important as it builds your strength up so you can go home.
I know.
So you are modeling the conversation, you are just imitating the conversation, and that is giving you more language. And the best part is, even the shy student can do it as a self-study. They don't need to practice it with someone else. They can do it alone. They can do it as a self-study, because this is a micro-learning package, which is very bite-sized. You know, you don't need hours to do practice for this. You can just do it anytime, anywhere. So that's the core. So that solves a lot of problem, because you can do it at your self-convenience. Whatever time suits you, you can do it, either in the morning or in the evening, and that is not a rocket science. You have to listen to the conversation. You have to imitate the way they are saying things. That will also improve the way they interpret the accents, because it is all done in the British accent. So the way they interpret the accent, whether they are able to understand it or not. So that this is it. So listening activity is another thing. Listening is, again, listening comprehension. So this is about showing you, this is the exercise listening for skimming. So we have taken care of all those skills that are required for your overall communication part. And it is all done in the real life healthcare setting. So this is all situational conversation that you listen to and then you repeat. So that's how you can see that how we can build the rapport with the patient, how we can interact with the patient. So there are so many themes. Even talking to other colleagues is there, because the nurses have the social life as well as their professional life. Everybody has a social life, isn't it? Right? So you need to interact with your colleagues also, talk to your friends also. So we have also covered the social life part. Now let's see the read and write unit. So it starts with grammar, because we have to give the sufficient language, and we have to also work on the accuracy. But this grammar is not the rote learning. There's one slide, you can go through the rules, starting from easy concepts and going on as we move on to the modules. So starting from the easy concepts to the more complex ones. So this is only a slide, and after that what you do an exercise based on that grammar concept. So this is also not time consuming. This is very short exercise, but this checks your understanding in a very easy manner. So do you find difficult, Afia, to do it? Right? Great. So let's talk about another skill, which is gathering information. Because we are here to talk about the employability skills, and we have to check whether this core helps you in enhancing the employability skills or not. So I believe gathering information is another very critical skill for the nurses, wherein they have to report, the medical history of the patients, isn't it? So again, gathering information is given here in this form, that this is a note, this is a kind of like slip, and they have to interpret this, they have to put the information here. So this is reading comprehension as well as doing it in the real-time scenario. So this is the reading skill that we have added, and similarly, preparing to write. So preparing to write is something, because they need to write down the reports. They need to write down, document everything. They have to document the care. They have to prepare the discharge notes and everything. So it is very important skill. Writing skill is very important, because documentation is very important and very critical. So they have to use the correct language. We have talked about like how it goes wrong when you just use a different word or different, spelling. So that is also very important. So this is a letter which has to be completed, and this is the present perfect or past simple tense that they have done in grammar 1 and grammar 2 slide. So this is based on the grammar, but this is preparing them to write, understanding, developing an understanding of what they have to do after they have learned that, and this is in the real-time scenario. This is a report that they have, this is a part of the letter that they have to complete. Now, talking about the medical terminologies. So you see, we are talking about diabetes, we are talking about ulcers, we are talking about foot care, we are talking about working hours and shifts. So these are the various, things that we are talking about. Various themes. So here, another scenario that the nurse is talking about a patient to a doctor and how she is explaining it to the doctor. So this is a long, again, introduction part. Then comes the role play. Again, another scenario where Nurse Sheila is discussing a diabetic patient with a doctor. So she is trying to explain here, she is using the right words, and she is also using the medical terminologies, which is important in your career. And the last module talks about life abroad, working abroad, how they adapt to the new culture. So you can see here, adjusting to life in a new country, how they adapt the culture.
How are you getting on? Settling in okay?
Well, I'm getting used to the weather. What about you?
I can't get used to how rainy and chilly it is.
That's true. I've never worn thick jumpers and coats before.
So this is showing how they are getting on, and this is a real-time conversation when they can have, like how they are trying to adjust in a different country. Say. Now I've shown you the student lessons. Let's move to another component, which is the worksheets. So for every module, we have 2 worksheets. So what are worksheets basically? These worksheets are the extended practice, and it gives the students an opportunity to produce language. And when they produce language themselves, it gives them more confidence. When they do the exercises correctly, it gives them more confidence. So there are 2 types of worksheets, writing worksheets, and these are downloadable worksheets. That means they can also be used by the teachers. It can be downloaded and it can be done. It can also be done as a self-study, as well as it can be used by the instructors in the class. So you see how we are trying to put the language. So this is an extra practice. Which is given to the students. And we are trying to give in the language, the functional language that they can use in the real life scenario. So this is not rote or something mechanical that they have to learn, but this is all based on the real world healthcare setting environment. And these are the phrases that they can use to join the sentences. So this is making the learning effortless. These are like very bite-sized things that they can learn at their own convenience and, produce the language over here. They can check their own understanding while doing the worksheets, and they can feel more confident if that is right. Similarly, the speaking activities are there. The activities can be conducted in the class through the teachers, or they can just pair up with a partner, and they can do it as a peer review also. So that can be done, that is possible, right? So these are the speaking activities. So you can see that. Coming to Pronunciation Plus. So Pronunciation Plus is a tool that gauges the exactness or the appropriateness of the pronunciation that the students pronounce the words or a sentence. I'll show you how. I'm so sorry it is not working here, but yes, I'll try to show. So you can see these are the extra words They have learned some words in the sections, in the modules, within the modules, but now they are learning some more words, which is useful to them. And they have to click on the verb and phrases. So these are not only words, these are the phrases that they have to use in the real life scenario. And they can just play this.
A great selection.
Right? They can record this phrase over here by clicking on the mic. A great selection. Thank God it worked. So you can see the feedback. It was only 50% appropriate, right? So that's how you get the feedback. Then, the next step. How to use this in a sentence? Because you will not say a word in silo. You will use it in a sentence. So the next step is using it in the sentence.
This store has a great selection of clothes.
So again, it is relatable. So here also, you can just click on the mic and record yourself, get the real-time feedback. So this is the practice of more words, more and more words, and we have more than 2,500 words over here. So in all, I will say in 12 modules, there are almost 750 activities which are based on micro-learning principles, which the students can do it on their own, or it can be done in the class through the instructors. So this was about the pronunciation plus. Now talking about the progress. What gives you confidence? Confidence is not just only doing and doing. How you can measure the progress that you have made. You develop at each and every step, but there should be a way to measure your progress. So this gives you confidence. When in real time you measure your progress and you know that from this level you have reached to that level. So this is what is done. For every component it gives you a progress report, and this is for the teachers also. They can just look through the progress of their students, as well as the students can also look through their own progress through the student lessons, what they have done, through the pronunciation, plus what they have done in the worksheets also. So all these components are there and they can look at the progress. Now, last but not the least, how does this course? It guides and supports the instructors. So that is very important, because there might be some students who will need hand holding. They may not be able to do it themselves, by themselves. So they will need a hand holding. So this course is also meant for the instructors, and it supports the instructors. I'll show you. You will go to course and lesson planner. And here you have a detailed document. Right? So here you can see the detailed document. What is it? Information for teachers, and what is the aim, what is the objective. Moving on. So how to do the instructor-led in-class teaching. So these are all the face-to-face activities, ideas, and explanation of the course components. What are the course components? It is a detailed description of the course components, right? So you can see this explanation is given for all the course components. And again, how to use the course components effectively. So this is about not only giving you the explanation or the detailed description of the course components, but how to use it effectively in the class. So that is a support to the teacher that we are providing, so that the teacher is not, clueless that, okay, what am I supposed to do here? How should I, teach this in the class? So these are based on how to use the course components, how to use the student lessons, how they can use it. So they can just go through, do their homework, how they can do it, and so these are the activities which can be done in the class. So this is a full support to the teachers. So these are the list of activities: getting definitions, making connections, 10 questions, which is it, dialogues, role play, how to do it in the class, expanding a dialogue. So these are all face-to-face activities, ideas. How to use the reading and listening section. personalizing a text, how to use the worksheets in the class. So everything is listed here. How to use the writing worksheet, how to do the peer reviews for the students, and how to use the correction code. So this is all like help to the teachers if they want to do the help, like hand-holding of the students, and if they want to teach this in the class. How to use the pronunciation plus. So this is for the teachers. Besides this information for the teachers, you have speaking teachers notes. So how to do the speaking activities in the, like the speaking worksheets are there for the students, how to conduct those activities in the class. So this is the teacher's note that is there, and there's a note to teacher for each and every activity. You see the instructions, put the nursing setting into 2 groups, new patient and patient I know. So that is how they can move forward. And everything is done in a real world healthcare setting. And because we consider that, you know, the attention span nowadays is very less, so we have tried to make it bite-size so that nobody is feeling overwhelmed while doing this course. So this is real life, this is situation-based, as well as this is very interactive, this is visually interactive, and this is very practical, right? So, and all the support is also extended for the teachers. So here, and again, if you want to look at the syllabus, what all we have used. This is the syllabus, complete syllabus, so that you are aware of the syllabus also, what you are going to use in all the modules. So this is a detailed syllabus for the course. What are the functional language you are going to use? What is the grammar topic that you have touched here? And what are the scenarios that you are talking about? So it covers it all. It covers it all, even the syllabus. So that when the teacher goes to the class, they can do their homework. So this was about the course and lesson planner and the teacher's material. Now, any question? Any question? Any question that anybody would like to have about the course? Yeah, it's a digital platform, online platform.
So it's an LMS platform.
LMS, yeah, learning management.
So it can work simultaneously on your mobile phones, on tablets, on a laptop. If a student, maybe he's going back from college to home, he's listening and doing that practice while sitting in the bus, or maybe in a taxi or a car, right? Then when he goes back home, he can start from where he has ended the worksheets or the practice there. So it works very beautifully there.
Anytime, anywhere, learning.
So this is an individual subscription, sir. So each and every student will have his own journey. What we primarily do before start of the course, that we give a diagnostic test to each and every student wherever it is getting implemented, so that we'll get to know the existing CEFR levels of the student, so that when they're starting their journey, we exactly know from where they need to start the journey, right? So the learning happens from where they are. Right? So it's completely CEFR aligned. What will be the? So that we'll discuss it later, sir. That's a difficult question asked in a forum. I'm so sorry for that, sir. But we will be in touch with you, sir.
Any question from the Gen Z that you would like to inquire about? Please come up with the questions. Don't be shy.
Anything. Right? Even if you have a stupid of a question, please.
I don't know your name. What's your name? Kisia. Okay. So Kisia, do you have any questions? What are the components that you liked? Sorry?
Listening, huh?
Listening?
Okay. What
Listening
else?
to the conversation? Okay. And what else? Reading section also? Okay, great. Ashik, what did you like? Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Why not? And that's a very fair question to ask.
Yes.
Right?
Great.
There's no hesitation. Yes, we have special discounts running for the students. So why did you feel that?
He is talking business now.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think you'll have time? Your question
Smart guy.
You'll have time. Do you think
Yes, no, maybe.
He's just asking now, do you have a time to do this one? Yeah.
Yes? Great.
And the best part is, I just want to tell you in the forum is that the syllabus which is there in the first year, right, in the colleges, that 100% syllabus matches with this what else we have here. So if you match the syllabus, you will definitely find something extra in it, and the entire syllabus which is there for 30 hours in first year, right, it's there in it. So we have ensured that all the components of that syllabus will be there in it. All the components of verbal ability, specifically listening, speaking, reading, writing, grammar, all of it's been covered in this particular solution, right? So it's the license is there for a year. The validity of the license is for a year, for 12 months whenever you activate the license. So it will help the students not to push up things very fast. They can learn by their own pace, and that is something which is very, very important. Even if you can spend 15 minutes or 20 minutes in a day, after a month or maybe after giving 10 to 15 hours on this application, we are very, very sure you're going to see change in yourself.
You can measure your own progress through the progress tracker.
Exactly. Right? So we don't want to push you that give 2 hours, 3 hours in a day, or maybe every day you need to practice overnight. If you can, that's very, very good. But if you can't, even if you give 20, 25 minutes in a day, it will really, really gonna help you a lot.
And the best part is that you can attempt these activities multiple times. You can reset it, you can attempt it again, till you think that you're perfect. I know there are multiple situations you are going to face in life, but definitely these situations, because we are talking about almost 750 activities which are embedded here in all those 12 modules. So you will get much language to interact in your practical life. Yes, the word section is there, that you have seen that you get the real-time feedback. Then the pronunciation plus is there, how you have to speak a word, how you have to just say it, and then how do you have to use it in a sentence. That means the
So
flow
they are
should
close to, if I remember, there are close to, I mean, there will be more 2,500 words.
Yes.
Yeah, 2,500 words which are there for improving your vocabulary and pronunciation both.
No, it's like all healthcare scenarios.
Correct.
Yes.
So whatever scenarios you have seen here, whatever real life scenarios, or maybe the scenarios which the nurses face during the hospital, or maybe when they are actually attending a patient, all those words related to those scenarios are put in there in the vocabulary. So it's not that you'll find words different with the scenarios. Yeah. Yes. So we are available 24/7. That's not fine. So digitally, the students will not find any difficulty. But yes, in case if they have anything where they need to clear their doubts, they can reach out to their specific coordinators, and then we can have a doubt clearing sessions which have been introduced in the colleges. So they can happen online or maybe offline in both the modes, depending upon how the program is being implemented in the college or a university.
So say, for example, if they are finding it difficult to understand the grammar concept, right, then they can just reach out to their coordinators, and you can have a doubt clarification session. If you're not able to understand, or if you're not able to attempt the activities properly, and you think that you need some more help, then of course you can reach out.
Okay, so thank you so much, all of you, to patiently attend and see this particular product. And if you have more questions, I'll be available. The invitation which has been given to you, all of you, have my number as well as Nishikant's number printed on it. We'll be available on the time. Any questions so far or any doubts, please reach out to us, right? Thank you. Now over to you, Simran. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having a lot of patience.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shweta, as well as Rakesh. I am very proud to announce, and I swear this is the last and final segment, it'll take 2 minutes. But very, very, very proud to announce that today, right here, right now, we step into a collaboration between Burlington English and Global Nurse Force. This collaboration is made and entered into by and between Global Nurse Force, GNF, and Burlington English to establish a partnership to empower nurses and healthcare professionals with essential language proficiency and communication skills, ensuring seamless global placements and workforce standardization. May I please invite Rakesh Goswami, DGM, Institutional Partnerships, as well as Joseph Cherian, sir. On the stage, he's the country head for the global nurse force. And we're really, really happy to be living in this moment today, right now. Thank you so much. Yay. Thank you, thank you. As we come to the close of this inspiring and purpose-driven day, I would like to take a moment to express my and our heartfelt gratitude to our dearest panelists, resource persons, and nursing veterans. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your time, and your passion for advancing healthcare leadership. A special thanks to our dynamic panel for thought-provoking insights, to Mr. George John for conducting a deeply engaging workshop, and to Ms. Shweta Naman for unveiling Burlington English for Nurses, a course we truly believe will uplift and empower nursing professionals across the country. To our audience, your presence, attention, and participation made this conclave meaningful. You are the change makers, the leaders, and the caregivers who make healthcare stronger each day. On behalf of Burlington English, we thank you for being a part of this journey with us. We hope today's session sparked ideas, inspired connections, and ignited your leadership spirit. Now, to commemorate this moment, this occasion, I would like everyone to gather here for a group photograph, and post that, we can please proceed for the lunch that's been settled up here. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's take these conversations forward and make changes every day in our practices and in ourselves. Thank you. Thank you for being here.